Kyle Larson has made one of the most meaningful announcements of the racing season, and for many inside the dirt racing world, this goes far beyond competition. Because this weekend at Kokomo Speedway is not simply another sprint car event, it is a tribute to the memory of Bryan Clauson, one of the most respected drivers the sport has seen in the modern era. Larson confirmed that Limit Racing will honor Clawson with the Bryan Clauson Hero Classic during its two-night stop at Kokomo Speedway. And within the racing community, that decision immediately carried emotional significance. Bryan Clauson was far more than a successful dirt racer. He was known throughout sprint car and midget racing for his relentless schedule, his aggressive driving style, and the respect he earned from competitors across the garage. Before his death in 2016, Clauson had built one of the strongest reputations in American dirt racing. His career included major victories in USAC competition and multiple wins at some of the sport's biggest events. But his life was tragically cut short after a crash during the Belleville Midget Nationals in Kansas. Even years later, that loss still resonates deeply across motorsports. Larson acknowledged that connection directly in his announcement, saying it means a great deal to honor his late friend at one of Clauson's favorite tracks. He also tied the event to Driven2SaveLives, the organ donation awareness initiative, closely connected to Clauson's legacy following his passing. That detail is important. This is not simply a ceremonial race name or a temporary tribute. Larson is using one of sprint car racing's fastest growing platforms to continue promoting a cause that has impacted families well beyond motorsports, and it also reflects how Larson's role within racing has evolved over the years. Fans have always viewed Kyle Larson as one of the most naturally gifted drivers in America. His versatility across NASCAR, sprint cars, and dirt racing is already well established. But moments like this highlight another side of the sport, the relationships behind the competition. The dirt racing community remains extremely close-knit. Drivers spend years traveling together, competing at local tracks, and building friendships long before national attention arrives. Bryan Clauson was central to many of those relationships. Larson, Tony Stewart, and Stenhouse Jr. were all part of that circle through years of dirt racing competition. After Clauson's death, Stewart openly admitted the loss hit especially hard because of how close they had become personally. That history explained why this event matters emotionally inside the garage today. It also comes at a time when sprint car racing is receiving more national visibility than it has in years. Limit Racing, founded by Larson and Brad Sweet, has quickly become one of the most talked about series in dirt motorsports. The series has brought larger audiences, major sponsorship attention, and increased exposure to sprint car racing across the country. So, by placing Bryan Clauson's name at the center of this event, Larson is introducing a newer generation of fans to one of the sport's most respected figures. Strategically, that matters for dirt racing as a whole. The sport has always relied heavily on loyalty, relationships, and emotional connection with fans. Drivers are remembered not only for victories, but for personality, work ethic, and the way they carry themselves within the racing community. Bryan Clauson represented all of those qualities, and perhaps the strongest reminder of that came during Kyle Larson's breakthrough NASCAR Cup Series victory in 2016. At the time, Larson had gone 99 Cup races without a win. Questions about when he would finally break through were growing louder every week. Then he won at Michigan International Speedway, but instead of focusing entirely on the accomplishment itself, Larson dedicated the victory to Clauson and his family. He later admitted he became emotional during the closing laps because he understood what the moment represented. Larson famously said they had parked it for Bryan in victory lane, a phrase that immediately connected with fans across racing. That win became one of the defining emotional moments of Larson's career. And interestingly, it came only 1 week after Stenhouse Jr. nearly delivered a similar tribute victory himself at Bristol. Stenhouse had been honoring Clauson with a special helmet design and finished second after narrowly missing the win. 1 week later, Larson completed what many inside the racing world viewed as an emotional send-off for their late friend. That history gives this weekend at Kokomo Speedway additional meaning because for many drivers, Bryan Clauson's influence never disappeared. Now, from a competitive standpoint, there is still real pressure surrounding Larson entering this event. Whenever he competes in sprint car racing, expectations are extremely high. At a track like Kokomo, many fans expect him to contend immediately. Adding the emotional weight of honoring a close friend only increases that pressure. And in dirt racing, emotional investment can sometimes become difficult to manage competitively. Drivers occasionally push too hard trying to create the perfect ending. Aggression and overdriving can lead to mistakes quickly, especially on dirt tracks where conditions change constantly. So Larson enters this weekend balancing both emotional responsibility and competitive expectations. Best case scenario, he delivers a victory during the Bryan Clauson Hero Classic and creates one of the most memorable moments of the sprint car season. Worst case scenario, the pressure surrounding the event becomes difficult to manage and the emotional significance overshadows the racing itself. But regardless of the final result, the larger impact may already be taking place. A new generation of racing fans is once again learning Bryan Clauson's story. And for many inside the sport, continuing that legacy matters more than any finishing position. So now the focus shifts to this weekend at Kokomo. Can Kyle Larson deliver the kind of performance many fans are quietly hoping to see? Or does the emotional pressure attached to honoring a close friend become one more challenge in an already demanding racing environment? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And for more NASCAR coverage, sprint car analysis, and in-depth motorsport stories, subscribe to SportsWire USA.